Now we are moving to our chapter 2, strengthening the ecosystem through collaboration. Like we mentioned a few times, today is a reunion of different communities. So we are very honored to have speakers from different countries. Please join me in giving a very welcome to our moderator today, Bruce Xu, Co-initiator of ETHPanda, who will be moderating the panel. Second panelist is QZ, Ethereum Singapore. Quinn, ETHVietnam. Also, Delane, Regional Manager Director of APAC of Ethereum. The topic of today's panel is Asian Communities in Motion, Growth, Challenges, and Connections. Bruce, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hey guys, hello everyone. Welcome to our panel today, Asian Community in Motion, Growth, Challenges, and Connections. So I'm Bruce from ETHPanda, so I'm more than happy to have you all here today. So let's talk about some topics related to the our three key main topics. So from growth, the challenge, and the connection. So I think maybe let's start with a quick self-introduction. Yeah, so.
Thanks, Bruce. Hi, I'm QZ. I helped put together Ethereum Singapore, and this year we're working on an Ethereum ecosystem fund.
Very short. Hi, everyone. My name is Quinn, founder of Suchi Blockchain Hub and ETHVietnam. So we're building the Web3 ecosystem in Vietnam and the region.
Hi, I'm Delane. You can call me Del. I'm from Nethermind, and I look after the APAC region for the company. We are one of the largest, I guess you can say, companies in the space where we do blockchain engineering, research, and security, and have worked with most of the, if not many of the projects in the space. Thanks.
Okay, cool. So let's jump into the conversation. So the question is regarding growth. So therefore, my first question is, what's the current state of your community? And what if we want to make it, scale it to tenfold? What will you do? Or any idea of it? Yeah. Start from you.
I'll start. Well, that's a very tough question, right? So in Singapore, I think we are a very globalized nation, especially with a lot of the recent conversations about globalization. Singapore plays an interesting role, especially in Ethereum. A lot of organizations and companies are actually domiciled in Singapore. And so the Ethereum ecosystem has kind of grown on its own because of very favorable policies, or just that maybe we've been doing Ethereum events, Ethereum activities for maybe 9 to 10 years already. So for us, I think to 10x such an ecosystem, it's not the role of any one person or organization. It requires the right kind of culture. And I think for us, in order for us to be able to make this happen, we need to ensure that Ethereum still stays open, friendly, and relevant. And I think that's the only way that we can 10x the ecosystem that we have. And Singapore is really just a microcosm of the overall Ethereum ecosystem. For us, it changes with the times. Now I think a lot of people are very interested in AI. But the talent and the sources of interesting projects are still coming from centers of learning and places where there is a thriving startup ecosystem. So for us, at least from a Singaporean perspective, I think we welcome you to come and join us and work together in a really small country, I suppose, where we can always stay very tightly knit. And hopefully, that's one way that we can help grow what we do.
Cool.
About the stage of ETHVietnam, I just look at around friends from China here, friends from Singapore, from Hong Kong, and I see that actually the Vietnam is still the emerging market. However, for Vietnam, we also have a lot of talent there, especially for developers, and also for the user for blockchain and also for crypto. It grows super fast. So for the community also play the critical role in the region, especially in terms of the pools of talents and the numbers of the new projects. So let's say about Ethereum ecosystem or community, what is the status there? So we have so many developers building on Ethereum ecosystem, and we also have the numbers of good projects building from there. Right now, like in Vietnam, we have more than 400,000 of developers in Vietnam, and then Ethereum definitely is one of the biggest change that most of the project also build on, besides another change. And how to also leverage this to 10x? This is a question that we also ask ourselves a lot among the community. So I think that there are several key things that we need to care about. Number one is education and leverage the skills for the community. So we need to do a lot of education workshop, and for ETHVietnam, we focus for the developer community. So for this, we also work from the grassroots, like from student, from community, from also we working with the government, also to do more education program to boost for this among the country. And the second part that we also care about is how to build the ecosystem, not only for the community, but also for the early stage project that they can build, and also they can have more support. So this is also regarding to more global resources, more good mentors, not only on the tech side, but also on the business side. And also, we also see what is the regulation that really support for the tech setup and also for the builders building on this. So right now, the good things about Vietnam is the new Vietnam government also really put AI and blockchain is one of the key direction and also changing. And they also will launch the very new regulation soon to welcome more tech talent, also more project, more investment into Vietnam, and also support for blockchain. So that is a thing that also really boosts for the ecosystem. The third thing that we think about is also how really to have for the others protocol and foundation also enter the market, and also bring more values into the market. So that is a key thing that with that way we also can boost for all the values, and also can leverage for the community, and also have more contribution by the community, not only by one or two organizations. So that way can boost way much faster.
Okay.
But I will let more for Delane to share about on your side. Yeah.
Yes, so I think Nethermind in this panel, we're not a community, so I'll talk about it from the perspective of a company, right? So Nethermind is, by headcount globally, we're about 300 over people, and in Asia alone, right now we are, now 90 people in Asia, of which almost 50% of the people in our Asian team were added in the last year. So we've been growing very fast in the region. And when we talk about that idea of how do you 10x, I think our goal wasn't really to 10x as the guiding principle, but it's really to create an environment where in the company we are able to provide global quality projects for people that are working in Asia, right? So it's a combination of two things: finding customers in the region, but also engaging the communities, hiring really top talent, and attracting them to the company, right? So, and we talk about a broader ecosystem approach. Part of it is, yes, we are talking about engineering and product talent, and they are attracted by the big, hairy, audacious goals, the most fun, exciting challenges. And I think Nethermind has done a good job to kind of be that platform for them to come in to work on those projects. Not many of you may know, but Nethermind has a long-running internship program where it's been running for the last couple of years, and it's unique in that these interns, they come in, they're not just from the Web3 native industry, but a lot of the people that come into Nethermind from this program are people from outside of the industry. So they are PhDs working on really hard problems, and they're looking for a place to apply what they're researching. Right, so and that's where Nethermind provides that platform. We are working on existing active problems, and we are able to give a platform to these really smart people to come and work on these problems. And after that, they pass through Nethermind, and they could they become alumni. So Nethermind now has an alumni network of over 600 people that have passed through or were once part of Nethermind, and I think we're very proud of that program. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's one way we'll be continuing to contribute to this bigger 10x.
Yeah,
goal.
very cool. So for ETHPanda, so Panda refers Chinese. So we are made up of Chinese developer and builders, Ethereum. So we united together to build better, support Ethereum. So in our community, I think we have we formed last year. So we already have 1,700 members. So with over 200 members really active. So I think speaking about the scale tenfold, I think one key point in my mind is to research and build up very big or many big projects or some applications. So therefore, we can create a lot of jobs. Then draw people into the learn something like a necessary tech or something like that. At the same time, we can provide educational content or hackathon or something like that. Otherwise, because without opportunities, even though there are many people, developer, students learning something, but they struggle to find somewhere to build. So I think that's if I can only choose one thing, that's very important for me. So, yeah. And speaking about, because we both have like community and developers, so I would like to ask a quick question about the notable projects in your community and some highlights, regional highlights. So, yeah, maybe from Singapore. Yeah.
For Singapore?
Yeah.
I guess the more recent ones that are somewhat relevant that I've been hearing from a lot of conversations here is that Singapore has a strong banking sector that is actually somewhat interested in building in Web3. So like Deutsche Bank, they were launching an L2. Like that's from some of the efforts that the Singapore government has put forth since 2018, I think, with like this project called Project Ubin, where they were looking at launching stable coins. And like, it's interesting because from a very pragmatic perspective, such a project, it's like one of the best use cases for Ethereum, but it's also very poignant in the sense that it's really strange because a lot of us joined the ecosystem for like, decentralization. So I like to highlight this project maybe to show the tensions that we are going to be facing as an ecosystem moving forward.
Cool. How about Vietnam?
For Vietnam, actually, like we really strong for the last cycle. I think that for gaming, a lot of GameFi projects like building since 2017, 18, 20, and also like a lot of projects like strong on DeFi also. So nowadays, like also like more AI agent mixing with blockchain, also like growing very, very fast in Vietnam. And another thing that like because of the new regulation is coming, so also one of the key hot topic is about the exchange in Vietnam, domestically open in Vietnam, and also like a lot of like big enterprises, and also banking also like jump into this for the adoption of blockchain. So for banking and finance also like it is growing very fast on this. Yeah, so that is the current stage of Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay, so any new features or plans from Nethermind, Dale? Yeah.
In the APAC region?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and in particular the use cases in APAC, right? Well, I think I can respond to what both QZ and Quinn were saying. I think primarily because Nethermind is involved in not just the Web3 native businesses, as in having them as partners and clients, but we also work with enterprises and financial institutions too. It's just the way that we've grown as a company to then partner up, in many modes of collaboration, and we just found ourselves in this kind of nice sweet spot where we are able to contribute to different sides of the conversation. Yeah, we're very excited about potentially working with more enterprises and financial institutions. I think, that's something that Nethermind has a lot of strength in, working within the Web3 industry with all the protocols, with all the projects. And I think we've built the reps, right? Built the reps of knowing what it takes to build in the ecosystem. And now we are bringing that expertise to the enterprises and the financial institutions. We're seeing a lot of conversations around public permission blockchain. So what does that mean, right? Is the enterprises trying to get onto Ethereum, trying to build an Ethereum, but they have certain bespoke needs, right? They want certain, they have certain privacy needs, or they need to protect their end customers, and that is that point of friction. There is also a point of opportunity for a company like Nethermind to come in and help move the needle. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. So speaking about the notable highlights in ETHPanda, like in Chinese communities, I would say the region and DGen is quite separate. So two groups of people, right? So speaking about the region part, I can see there are a lot of layer 2 projects and ZK related things, because I can see there are many layer 2 project founder has a Chinese background. And when I was in Invisible Garden, which is a ZK hacker house last year, so I can see about over half of them are Chinese. So yeah, that's for region part. And for DGen part is I would say is actively in some meme coin projects recently, right? I can also see some hardware wallets, PayFi or dApps, coming show up, yeah, recently. And I think even though we have so many notable highlights, I think we still have a lot of challenges facing, like in development of each community. So with those challenges, we can do much better after we overcome those challenges, right? So what do you think, like QZ, some challenges you are facing with?
Right. In Ethereum specifically, I suppose.
You can say.
Like, it's not easy. Ethereum is, I think, maybe one of the most misunderstood ecosystems, like from every angle. People think that like Ethereum is too philosophical, maybe, or it overly trades off on decentralization. But if you listen to Xiaowei's talk earlier, it's actually the core of what makes Ethereum the way it is. But it's very hard to kind of convince verbally, right? Like, it's hard to talk about resilience unless something happens. Because if not, you sound like you are over-preparing for something that might never happen. So as an example, right, like when like the pandemic happened, Singapore has actually been preparing for something like this since the SARS pandemic in 2004. So we were somewhat prepared, or at least we were more prepared than most countries. These are things that, like in Ethereum, you will not appreciate until like your chain breaks down. And for us, I think maybe it'll get a little bit easier as the years go by, where the value of a truly decentralized platform will be even more apparent as more and more people in your own countries seek neutral places for you to grow or to just run your own business or do your own things. So I think hopefully that challenge will be a bit easier. But till then, I hope more folks help us share the message and take the time to really experience it for yourself. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, Quinn? Yeah.
For me, I think there are a lot of challenges for building the ecosystem and the community. But one of the things is, like, for example, Ethereum really want to build a long-lasting infrastructure and products, even can last for hundreds of years, right? And then for a lot of builders, like they don't have that kind of long-term vision. So they even like this, because a lot of DGen in the ecosystem also, right? They also follow the trend. And also like, they think about how to monetizing it as quick as possible. So that is one of the things that I think that is not really aligned with the Ethereum values, and how we also can support and spread out the philosophy of Ethereum, and also like helping the founders to have the longer term vision to really like build the good quality projects, and even like solve the real world problems and bring it back to our real life, and create the impacts in our own community, our own economy, and our own country, or even like spread it out to the region. That is one of the key thing, and it takes long time. But I always like, I kind of optimistic, maybe idealist person. I believe in the good thing. And I believe that, the more people and the more activity that we keep talking about it, and also like we working on the different levels, even with the government, with the different like, community in the region, we can collaborate, or with other like, builders, we can spread out about the spirit, about the philosophy, and also the real world use case that really successful happening in other countries, and bring back to Vietnam. So that is also like bring more use cases, and also the role models for the builders and also the founders in Vietnam to, to learn from it. And then I believe that with the good quality of the builders in Vietnam, they can build very fast and great products also. And with the current like, market with 20 million crypto user, with all of that can scale super, super fast. So it's just like, it will get there. It just takes a bit more time, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And for Dell, because we both know that Nethermind is a global company, so I'm curious, like from your perspective, what's the difference between like APAC and US or Europe or other regions in terms of challenges?
Well, I think, like both QZ and Quinn and, yourself too, Bruce, you're familiar with, I think the view of the West towards APAC is that we often talk about it as like one block and everything is applicable across the board, but it's not. It's like a collection of, countries. It's like fractionalized. There's a hot pot of cultures, and the way things are being implemented is completely different, right? Even within the member states or member countries within the Asia region, how we apply policy and regulation is different, right? Some countries are more US leaning, some countries are more, China leaning in terms of the way that they view themselves in relationship to in the world, and that creates this interesting chaos, right? And how we then approach APAC is really a little bit of a combination of being very conscious of what our value is, like what we bring to the table, and then looking for the right partners in a very opportunistic way, right? And of course, the window opportunity is always, it's just there, and it can close very quickly. So we have to act fast, right? We have to be opportunistic and also be considerate about how we engage. I think we are also in a process where, if you're a gamer and you look at it, it's like a fog of war map, right? Where, something will open up when you step in one direction, and at some point you'll find your way towards the other side, right? But you have to have a North Star. So we have a few North Stars that we are trying to pursue in the region. And then the way there is really just being very adaptive and watching the macros, like see what's happening in the market. Yeah. Yeah, so it's different in Europe and US in that way, yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Thanks for sharing. And speaking about ETHPanda in Chinese communities, I think there are two main challenges. One is the language. So, members are struggle with English. And so therefore, but that's easy to solve because we can translate. We always translate something. And also we send students to here. So this time we sponsored ETHAsia sponsored over around 20 students to here to join the events. The second one, yeah, I totally agree with you guys. So the second one is policy, because it's very strict laws in China to, regards cryptocurrencies. So if we do some events or activities in mainland China, we have to be very tech focused. We can't, mention a lot of others. So, and some global projects, avoid working with us due to compliance risks. So that's a very important, very big challenge. But I think that Hong Kong is good to open and try to test in new policies. So that's let's see. So if there's something happen. So I think the last question is going to be quick and basically we have analyzed the challenges and what do you think how to contribute in the next 3 to 5 years to make your community better? So would you like to share some future plans? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ethereum Singapore, and if you have time, I'm doing a short talk about it later at 2:30, but Ethereum Singapore has transformed over the last 7 years of our existence. It started out as just meetups. Like we all started as meetups, right? Like you rent a room and then you just like talk about Ethereum, you teach Solidity. Back then it was like, when I first did it, it was like version 0.4 or something. Yeah. But it has completely changed the entire industry, or at least maybe the entire ecosystem has become an industry. And I think that requires an entirely different kind of playbook. For Ethereum Singapore, for us, we are very thankful and privileged that the Ethereum name and the brand and its leadership, it's very strongly associated with quality and with doing meaningful things. Like Ethereum Foundation has been like the bulwark or hallmark of like what a steward of a decentralized ecosystem can be, and it's given us like a lot of opportunities for opening doors with people curious about Web3 in general. Like everybody learns about Bitcoin. It's kind of like the biggest meme or concept that everybody interacts with. But Ethereum is like an entirely different intellectual chasm that you have to cross in order for you to really appreciate what it can do for you. For us, we hope to increase our emphasis on usability. And if we can help more people cross the next chasm, which is the usability chasm, then I think it would really help. And I think this is the one thing that will get us through the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Albert.
For us, like we keep doing whatever we're doing now. Nothing special. Focus on education. So that's number one thing. So we will also like multiply like all like numbers of workshop for students, for developers. For last maybe like 3 years, we have done more than 300, 400 workshops already. So it means that every week like we have something happening, some workshop for student or developer at all different levels. But now we also like increase that numbers of workshop even for enterprises, because like for the government also have the direction to adopt blockchain, and that's what we're also doing. That's number one. And second, that we also keep doing like a lot of hackathon. The good thing about Vietnam is like we have so many developers, and also the students, they also love to build. So whenever we do hackathon, even like small scale, we also have number of the good projects from there. So for example, like even we do like AI blockchain hackathon, the mini one, we also can easily have like 10 to 20 new projects already from there. And also like for the events thing, we keep doing ETHVietnam. So for the next ETHVietnam, also like in next month. So for that, we also have the conference and also 3-day hackathon. So through those kind of activity, we also have bring more like numbers of projects and ideas into the ecosystem. And the last thing that we focus for now is the incubation program, because we believe that from the idea from the hackathon is just the very start. And in order to support them to become like more sustainable project, we even like need to do like way much more. So the incubation program is one of the things that we focus for now, that we can support them like during the early stage, like after MVP product like building, also like how to help them to even like grow community, bring it to the global scale, or even raising fund so they can be more sustainable. And from that, we even can use those projects and bring it back to the different industries in Vietnam, and also like collaborate with other enterprises to solve some real world problem. And that's the thing that we do, yeah.
Okay, cool. So there.
So I think for Nethermind, we exist in firstly a very unique industry, right? And Nethermind as a company is also maturing as the ecosystem itself matures. So we are growing together, right? And I think for us, it will remain the same, where we will constantly take leadership and signals from Ethereum and the broader Ethereum EVM ecosystem, and we calibrate from there. But what we will continue to do is that we lead from where we are within our locus of control, right? And that is, we are by DNA a team of like very strong engineering and product people, and then even our operations people are also kind of technically inclined, right? And just make sure that we are maintaining the kind of culture in symbiosis to Ethereum, but constantly work on enhancing and strengthening our engineering and product capabilities so that we can show not just within Ethereum, but outside of Ethereum, the conviction that we have, right? That why we want to stay, right? So people can be attracted to, want to work with high quality people, right? So keep a high quality team in the ecosystem and continue to contribute, what we learn and what we're pushing the edge of with the broader ecosystem. Yeah, so that would be how we look at things.
Okay, yeah, cool. So I think we have finished the questions. So if you want to get more information about local communities or build collaborations, welcome to join the ETHAsia booth. So we have a booth there, so feel free to reach out. And I want to say thank you to all of you guys and for joining this discussion. So enjoy your wonderful day in ETHAsia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of the speakers flying over to Hong Kong to attend this incredible regional flagship event. Thank you so much.